Welcome to this week's edition of the Weekend Triathlon. Without further ado, let's roll that intro and get stuck into this week's news. Some general triathlon news. Frodeno has won the 2016 Laureus Award for the Action Sports Person of the Year. Then you all remember that last weekend Brownlee had an abysmal race down on the Gold Coast, and Jonathan collapsed at the finish line, finishing in third at the Gold Coast World Triathlon Series event. Well, both Brownlee brothers have decided to make the trip to Cape Town and line up for this coming weekend's World Triathlon Series race. We'll see how they're able to cope with the heat and such like conditions in Cape Town. Another person making their debut for the season at the World Triathlon Series will be Lisa Norden. But for Lisa, who's been making the city of Stellenbosch, which is just 50 kilometers outside of Cape Town, her winter training base, it will be feeling almost like starting a season off with a home event. Now we move on to the world of Ironman. This past Monday, Ironman started their Kona Slot auction, and it's an online auction through eBay, and the slots for Kona will be auctioned off to the highest bidder at a rate of one slot per week. One slot for the week that's just gone past, and one slot for the next 4 weeks coming up. Interesting way of being able to generate additional revenue without relinquishing too many Kona slots, don't you think? Now on to Ironman race results. Last weekend on Sunday the 17th of April was the Ironman 70.3 in New Orleans, with Sarah Piampiano of the USA and Andrew Starkwitz, also of the USA, picking up the men's title. Interestingly enough, as far as this event is concerned, that the official results have 1 week later still not yet been posted on the Ironman website and not yet released officially by Ironman. As far as the coming weekend is concerned, there are 0 Ironman events on the calendar for this coming weekend. Now we move on to the world of the Challenge family, and yes, by way of a change, we actually have some Challenge family news this week. And that is that the Challenge family have announced an event that is going by the name of the Championship, and the Championship will be held for the first time in 2017, and it will be contested over the half distance in the town of Samorin in Slovakia on the 3rd of June 2017. Interestingly enough, the qualifying period for the Championship commences this coming weekend in the Canary Islands. Age group athletes qualify for the Championship by finishing in the top 6 of their age group in any Challenge family event during the course of the qualification period. That's whether it's a half or a full, you finish within the top 6 of your age group, you'll qualify for the Championship in June of 2017. However, because Challenge is by its nature an inclusive event, in other words, people that are inclusive within the Challenge family need to be rewarded in some way. The Championship will also feature 300 loyalty slots, and how a loyalty slot works is, if during the course of the qualification period, starting this weekend in the Canary Islands, you manage to start and finish 4 challenge events, be it half distance or full distance, you finish 4 challenge events, you qualify for one of those 300 loyalty slots. However, those loyalty slots will be issued on a first come first served basis. So the first 300 people to finish 4 challenge family events and put their money down and make their online entry for the Championship will be granted one of those 300 loyalty slots. Then again, if you've qualified for a loyalty slot and you then use your loyalty slot and then maybe do another Challenge family event and in that one finish top 6, will you be able to substitute your loyalty slot for your qualification slot and release the loyalty slot into the pool? I've got no idea whatsoever. We'll have to wait and see what the Challenge family decides to do as far as that type of eventuality. The championship will also feature a relay team event as well, and in order for your relay team to be able to qualify for the championship, your relay team would need to finish in the top 3 of relay teams at the event that you're competing in, or at the qualification event that you're planning to be competing in. As far as the pros are concerned, the pros and elites will be able to qualify via their ITU World Series points position. They'll be able to qualify via the Olympic Games, and they'll be able to qualify via Ironman Kona and the Ironman 70.3 World Championship. But any one of those qualifications would need to be validated at any Challenge Family event, be it half distance or full distance. As far as last weekend is concerned, there were no Challenge Family events on the calendar last weekend. This coming weekend, however, as I mentioned earlier, on Saturday the 23rd of April will be the half challenge, and that's the Fuerteventura in the Canary Islands. Now we move on to the world of Xterra. The big event this coming weekend is the Xterra Asia Pacific Championship that is in New South Wales in Australia. However, many of the elite pros that picked up podium spots in the previous 2 editions of the Asia Pacific Championships will not be there this weekend, simply because they'll be over in Cape Town contesting the ITU World Triathlon Series event, with the specific view of picking up those valuable qualification points to be able to get into the Rio Olympic Games. So without so many of those pros present in New South Wales, it's going to be a much more of an open field, and just about any's guess as far as who will be picking up the titles there. Then as far as last weekend in Xterra, there were 2 events last weekend in Xterra, and that is the first up on the Saturday the 16th of April was Xterra in New Zealand, and that was the ladies' title was picked up by Lizzie Orchard of New Zealand, while Braden Curry, also of New Zealand, picked up the men's title. While on Sunday the 17th of April there was the Xterra reunion. Karina Vassal of Austria picked up the ladies' title, while 3-time world champion Ruben Razafa won for the men. This coming weekend in Xterra, as I mentioned earlier, will be the Xterra Asia Pacific Championship, and that's taking place in Jervis Bay, New South Wales, Australia. Finally, we move on to the world of the ITU, and the 2016 elite races at Kisbuel, at the Kisbuel World Cup, should I say, have been cancelled due to unforeseen circumstances. Please note that the age group races will continue, but there will be a gaping hole left in the Elite World Cup schedule this year. And the way the whole thing and the way the press release has been put together sounds to me like the unforeseen circumstances may have been a major sponsor that pulled out, which meant that the gaping hole was left in the budget for the Kisbuel event, meaning that quite possibly there was not enough budget left in the kitty to be able to adequately cover, number 1, the prize fund, and number 2, possibly the ITU license fee for the elite pro race. So that's my guesstimate as far as what the unforeseen circumstances were. Then look, as far as the major ITU races from last weekend, last week Saturday the 16th of April was the ITU World Cup in Chengdu, China, competed over the full Olympic distance. Summer Cook of the USA led out of the water, proceeded to break away on the bike, and absolutely demolished the field in the run to take a comfortable victory. While on the men's side of the race, Rodrigo Gonzalez broke away on the bike leg and stormed through on the run to be able to take his first ever World Cup victory. This coming weekend there's another major ITU event on the calendar, and that's the World Triathlon Series event that's taking place in Cape Town. It's going to be contested over the sprint distance with your 750 meter swim, your 20 kilometer bike ride, which is going to be contested over 5 laps. It's 5 laps of 4 kilometers each, and the 5 kilometer run is going to be 2 laps of 2.5 kilometers each. That's taking place in Cape Town, and it's going to be a jam-packed, star-studded field, with Mario Mola looking at extending his winning streak, and you've got the likes of Flora Duffy, Lisa Norden, who using Cape Town as their winter base training camp, as well as a host of other top names, all lining up ready to compete. And that brings us to the end of this week's edition of the Week in Triathlon. Remember to share this video out amongst all your friends. Thumbs up if you like this type of content. Post any comments, questions, criticisms you have in the comment section down below. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well. Stay subscribed to Coach Eggler's channel for all the new content that comes out to you daily. Remember, next week Friday, another edition of the Week in Triathlon. And until then, every single day of the week, there will be some video content of either a triathlon or a distance running type of format or type of content, and by subscribing to the channel, you'll be able to get access to that content as I publish it every single day by way of an email to your inbox. So remember, stay carved up for the win. I'll see you next time. Cheers. Coach Eggler.